Welcome to Group Practice Revolution, where innovation meets magic. I'm your host, Sarah Buino, and on this show, we're gathering the unicorns of the group practice world, those magical practitioners, owners, and visionaries transforming how group practice works. Together, we're bridging the gap between practice owners and employees to create a better future for mental health care. Join us as we bring together diverse voices from across the field, each sharing their piece of the revolutionary puzzle. Because when innovation meets magic, anything is possible. Hello, my friends. I don't have to tell you that we are in an excruciatingly challenging time in the world. And I found it really interesting how the challenges in the world around us are spilling into the psychotherapy space. I'm particularly concerned about group practices. If we haven't met before, hello, I'm Sarah Buino. I was a group practice owner. I started a practice called Head Heart Therapy in Chicago at the end of 2013 and sold the practice to my dear friend and colleague, Rael Grayson, in 2023. If you want to hear that whole story, you can go back to my Burnt Out Practice Owner series from 2024. And since I sold the practice, I've been consulting with group practice owners who are facing various struggles in their practice. And over the short time I've been consulting, I've recognized a few things. One, there is a big divide between practice owners and employees, and that divide has become extremely fraught and divisive. And it feels sometimes like there's not going to be any space to find common ground. And I initially thought, okay, I'm going to go in and work with group practice owners and I can support positive change on the organizational level. And I think that's great. But I realized pretty quickly that sometimes top down change isn't always possible based on various factors in an organization. Next one's a little hard truth. So just going to leave that there. It's a little challenging. We can unpack it a little bit. I also have seen some owners from on the outside, what it looks like struggling to recognize their contribution to the issues that are in their practice and maybe not being willing to engage in alternative ways of doing business or listening to their employees. Every time I'm on the Facebook groups, I see employees complaining about a variety of things. And while I do think partly it's employees not necessarily understanding how business works, I also realize that the employees are feeling unheard. And so there's something missing where owners are not really listening. And so, because of all this, I really wanted to find a way to bridge the gap between practice owners and employees so that we can all work together to evolve group practice into the future. So, Group Practice Revolution is my attempt to do just that. And it's what I'm calling the special space where innovation meets magic. And this very podcast that you're listening to right now is one small piece of the revolutionary puzzle. So, overall, Group Practice Revolution is a new platform, and it is here to support the current challenges of group practice for both employees and owners and try to evolve us into the future. And it includes a consultation hotline for both employees and owners to call when they run into workplace issues, monthly webinar topics that will relate to work, running a group practice, all of the things that go with being in community together. Support groups for both owners and employees separately and together. A social platform that I hope is going to center curiosity and abundance instead of scarcity and blame. And lastly, this podcast. So, on this podcast, we're going to try to hear from everybody involved in group practice. So, owners, employees, consultants, any other brilliant humans who have ideas that are really important to evolving the business of therapy so that we can meet the changing times. My hope, and I know this is a lofty goal, but my hope is if we have a shared foundation of values, open communication, and a little business education, we can actually work towards that revolution together. And that's going to support therapists to create a better healing environment for clients because everyone needs some healing right now. I'm just going to say straight off, I do not personally have all the answers for how we're going to evolve. In fact, I can't even really picture what the future looks like right now. So my hope is that everybody involved in group practice currently has a small piece of the puzzle, or maybe they even have big pieces. I don't know. And the conversations that we have on this podcast are going to be an attempt to collect as many pieces of that puzzle as we can to try to get a more clear picture for what our future looks like in group practice. So let me also just share some logistics about how this podcast is going to work. It's going to be released either once or twice monthly, depending on how many weeks are in the calendar that month. And it's going to be in my usual Conversations with a Wounded Healer feed, but it's only going to live there for a short time. After a few weeks, the podcast episodes will disappear from the podcast feed, but they're going to live on in eternity, forever and ever, amen, on the Group Practice Revolution platform. So if you want forever access to all the episodes, you'll want to run over to grouppracticerevolution.com and sign up for a membership. I think they're very affordable. And members can even receive CEs for listening to podcasts and webinars. So welcome. That is my wildly ambitious vision for Group Practice Revolution. I want to gather all the magical unicorns that are going to help us usher our practices into the future for the greater good. So thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching Group Practice Revolution. To learn more about today's guest, you can visit us at www.grouppracticerevolution.com. Thanks so much to the team at Jules Creative Marketing for video editing, to Jordy Matthews for our incredible logo on the album art, and to David Ben Porat for our theme music. Until next time, bye-bye.